Hi everybody, Don Peterson coming to you from the Swing Factory Golf Studio just on the north side of Atlanta, Georgia. I like to do these lesson recaps. Right after I give lessons, I want to talk to you a little bit about what I saw in the student's swing and how I chose to fix it with that particular student. Might not be how I would choose to fix every student with the exact same problem, but I wanted to share this particular concept. So I had a guy come in today and kind of a typical flipper. He got to the ball and he kind of started, and he was a little tight at the start of the downswing, and you could kind of see there was a little bit of an early throwing motion right here with the hands. So he always got down to the golf ball and he had a little bit of a flip, and his arms looked like they're back here. His hips were open, you know, kind of like this, but he always flipped at it right here. So his hands and arms were back here by his right thigh and right knee and right hip. So and the funny thing is when you're hitting golf balls well, even if you have your arms in the right position, a lot of times there's this feeling like your arms are supposed to be on your right hip or on your right rib cage. Your right elbow is supposed to be in there. It's like throwing. So, you know, a lot of times that's a good thought for people to feel like they've got it all tucked in here. But for him, having his arm back here and having the club flipped wasn't working. So I went through a couple drills with him, and one of the things I told him, I said, instead of, you know, I had him go to impact, you know, with his hips open like this, and I said, you know, your arms are normally here. I said, what if we took your arms and we put them up by your left rib cage, like up here, instead of back here off of the right rib cage and the right hip? What if we had your arms up here? And I said, and the club had forward shaft lean. So I took his arms from here with the flip and I put them up here. And I said, so I want you to imagine that both elbows, even your right elbow, is kind of up here off of your left rib cage. I want you to go back and forth and try to feel what it would feel like to have your arms in front of you with your hips open instead of back here with your hips open. So he kind of put this in his brain, and we had him do a little drill where his arms were up here and the wrists were cocked, and then I had him open his hips, and then I call this the windshield wiper drill. This is a drill that I have people do in my program, my Miyagi for Golf program, but I call it that you get in a preset position right before impact, your hips are open, and then you just kind of go back and forth, and you let your left wrist go to straight and flat right here. All right, as you're going through the golf ball, but you don't flip at it. So this is called the windshield wiper drill. And I'm not pumping my arms or shoulders, but I'm just letting it do this. So anyway, I had him kind of get in this position, feeling like his arms and elbows were up off the left rib cage. And then we just practiced hitting a couple golf balls. And I told him to make sure the right knee went through as he hit. So he was able to feel a lot different release with his arms in front of him instead of his arms back here and the club flipping like this. So then it's kind of interesting how this works. When you start figuring out that your arms aren't supposed to be behind you at impact and you put them up where they're supposed to be, more in front at impact, you start figuring out, oh, well, if they're supposed to be there, then during the backswing, I don't want them to get behind me on the backswing, so why don't I keep them in front during the backswing so that I can keep them in front at impact? And that's what generally happens. So for those of you who are struggling with flipping, there was some other things that we went over. Obviously, he was a little tight at the top of the swing, and there was this early throw. So we also worked a little bit on collapsing, letting everything collapse so that you're relaxed at the top of the swing. When you change directions, you just let it stay relaxed. So we worked a little bit on that, but I needed him to feel the arms and the release being more in front of his body with his hips open rather than behind his right rib or right hip and flipping. So this is, like I said, this is a little drill you can do maybe before you even hit any golf balls. Just kind of start with your elbows and feel like both elbows, your right elbow and your left elbow, are both kind of up here on your left rib cage. And even, you know, push your shoulder and everything over there. Now, I don't want you to put your hands out here. That doesn't work because now your left elbow is separated from your rib cage. So try to keep your left elbow on your rib cage, but put your right elbow up there on your left rib cage too. And then just hit a couple of little tiny, just a little pitch shot like that. And you can put it on a tee with a 7-iron, but just to go here and go through with your hips, here, go through with your hips, and then figure out, okay, how would I do that? How would I make a backswing and do that on the downswing? And you'll start changing you around, and maybe you'll start creating a better backswing where your arms are more in front of you. Again, this is how Butch Harmon got famous, was he taught people to swing with their arms in front of their chest. It shortens a lot of swings, but it also creates more width, also creates a bigger shoulder turn. So for those of you who want to really learn something about the golf swing, goof around with these concepts, of getting arms in front of you as you're turning through, not behind you and flipping. For more tips like this, come back to the Swing Factory here at YouTube, or go to swingfactory.com and look at our information there. youtube.com/MrBBGolf. Or Swing Factory, we were coming out with a new YouTube channel, Swing Factory Golf, so check out that too. Thank you.